All right. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. How we doing? How we feeling? Welcome to the show. You got Jimmy Moreland here for you for another exciting day. I'm with veteranaudio.com. I'm a voice actor, audiobook narrator, and music producer. And today, we're going to do like we usually do. We're going to head over to the pay-to-play voice casting websites. The big ones being voices.com and voice123.com. Going to take a look and do some auditions there today, hopefully. And we'll also take a look at ACX, the Audiobook Creation Exchange, and see if there are any interesting audiobook opportunities. I am chock-a-block full of audiobook projects right now, though, so I doubt that we'll be trying to get any new work because, frankly, I'm drowning in the work. I'm not complaining, and I'm not really trying to brag. This is just life. This is where we are. All right, let's take a look at what we're going to be seeing today, and that is this. We've got Pro Tools on the left, and we've got our audition websites on the right. Let's take a look. We're going to start with voices.com, which we usually do. CrossFit Games, Texas Intro Package. Now, I am originally from Texas, and so that's appealing to me. For some reason, though, I'm only a 90% voice match on this. It must be because role announcer. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and do this. This seems fun. I apologize in advance because we're going to be a little bit loud on this here. The CrossFit Games have come to Fort Worth. The CrossFit Games are in Fort Worth, Texas. All the history, all the highlights, live in Texas. Welcome to Fort Worth. Okay, something important we need to do here. So we can see these big, healthy waveforms here. You can set in Pro Tools, there's a really simple hotkey combination to change the vertical resolution of just visually what the waveforms look like. And in Pro Tools, it's Alt plus Shift plus scroll up and down. See that? And the reason that's really important is because like when you're doing like fine editing, having really big, tall waveforms is really good because I can see where my breaths start and end. I can see little weird bits of noise and things like that. But what I can't see when my waveforms are this tall is I can't see whether I'm clipping. And so I need to bring this down a little bit. And now I can go to my loudest peak. I can zoom in and I can see if any of these waves have that telltale flat top on them. A perfectly like crazy, just absolute flat top on them. And that is an obvious indicator that you are clipping. And I don't. Look at that. A nice, smooth, rounded edge to the top of that waveform. So I have not clipped. Obviously, I could just watch my meters and yada yada. And Pro Tools obviously has a little meter, sort of a little warning, a little red light that'll sort of show that, hey, sometime during that take you clipped. But it's always good to sort of have a backup, have a double check there. We're just gonna deliver this exact thing. We're not going to. We're not even going to give them another take. If they like us, they like us. If they don't, they don't. We're going to give them the one take and move on. And send this off. This is called CrossFit Games, Texas. XFit Games, Texas. Now on this, I am going to put a special little bit to my response here. DFW native. There we go. This is your opportunity to make yourself stand out a little bit in the minds of your potential clients. My standard response it mentions that I'm a military veteran. And it's likely that sometimes that actually hurts me because it's not to say that people are thinking oh, screw the military, but fair game if that is what they're thinking. But from time to time, it probably puts a a picture in their head. It probably primes them to think of my voice in a certain way, in this, stereotypical like drill sergeant kind of way, which I don't think is the way I speak at all. I don't think that my voice has any kind of special military sound or style to it, but it might prime a listener to think a certain way. And I don't begrudge people that. Like, whatever. People are going to think what they think. This one we're going to skip because the budget's super, super low. I'm only a 90% voice match because the client picked animation category, and I guarantee this is not an animation job. Title is Quarterly Meeting. We take our responsibility as a good corporate citizen seriously. There's a collective, and then there's a singular. It's all whatever. But this is miscategorized. This is obviously not animation. The video might be animated, but this is not animation category. Animation category should be reserved for like Looney Tunes, like anime, stuff like that. This is not. I'm actually going to report this. Missing or incorrect details. Not animation. And I'm going to put, please show a pop-up to clients when they select animation. This is the most frequently miscategorized. I don't want to say category twice. Miscategorized category. Yeah. It's such a simple thing that they could do. So simple. Like the most basic quality of life adjustment that voices could make, and they just don't want to do it. I don't know why. I don't understand it. Okay, this here, we love to see this. This yellow badge that says worked together previously. This is amazing. I see this bright yellow badge. It says worked together previously, and if I submit for this job, the client will see something similar on their end when they're looking at the dozens or perhaps even 100, maybe not for this budget, they won't see 100, but the dozens of auditions that they will receive, they'll see a nice badge on my audition saying, hey, you worked with Jimmy before, and chances are, hopefully, they had a good experience, and so they'll want to work with me again. Now, the issue here, though, is this budget. With a job of this length, 25 minutes of audio, 3,750 words. I don't know. Even at the very top end of this budget, I don't know if this is right. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do this one. Just the budget's too low for that amount of. No. Call of Duty Awards VO, Deep Mail US Voice. 51 responses already in line. Let's take a look here. So, let's see here. Narrator. Sure, let's give this a shot. Why not? It sounds fun. On Friday, the 24th of May, an unspeakably this copy makes no sense. Wait, what is this? I don't know what the hell this is. If you get a spidey sense tingling that says like, something ain't right with this job, then just don't do it. Don't do it. This is a client that I'm sure people have great experience with, but I have never found any of this particular client's jobs to be worth my time. So we skip everything from this client. And they do post quite a bit, So I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who are. Hello? Jobs, please. I think this is I accidentally double clicked. Oh my God, go. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm sure there are people out there making, doing well off of this client's work, but it's not for me. Okay. And hello? Hello? Jesus. Okay. Fallen Samurai? Uh, okay. Here, they have not made any, at least not in here. They haven't made any indication of the racial background of their preferred voice talent. Um, I'm going to make a personal professional decision and say that I am not the appropriate voice talent for a job like this. Yamatano is a fallen samurai. That ain't me. So we're going to pass on this one. No shade on those 57 other voice talent who all submitted for that. No shade. It's just that I don't feel it's appropriate for me. Okay, how to talk with anyone about anything. 60-second spot. Okay. Let's see here. We're probably gonna pass, and we're probably gonna end up passing on a lot more of these because um, I've been so damn busy with all these audiobooks that I took July 4th off. Here's the deal with that. For those wondering, for those anxiously awaiting a July 4th live stream, I live in a very, very small town on the coast of Maine. And I live right on the main road, the road that like you would take if you're going anywhere up the coast, like you will drive right by my house. And in my tiny little town, my town happens to host like the biggest July 4th parade from hundreds of miles. Like if you want to, July 4th, I want to go see a parade, then you're going to come to my town. And so like for hours on July 4th, like it was a noisy, noisy mess. Now where I am right now, it's in a separate building behind my house. So there's an entire house between where I am right now and the road where the parade was happening. But that parade was loud. Lots of big, heavy vehicles making all kinds of noise. And so I just knew, like, ain't no way we're doing a live stream. And I knew also ain't no way I was doing a lot of other kind of work. So, so that's why no live stream then. And then because of that, I was a little bit further behind for the following day. So no live stream on Friday either. So basically, some of these auditions that we're looking at are going to be crusty old. Right now, this one we're looking at is only, it's less than 24 hours old. It was posted yesterday evening. 90%, 42. Let's take a look here. For those who had Pro FX to demo are in first of the line. I'm sorry, I just don't want to work with a client who talks like that. I don't want to. Record VO for 2-minute animation, and some voice of God sentences. Voice of God is an industry term. It's not like you're playing the character of God. Like voice of God is like it's something that tends to play at like live events. So if you're at an awards ceremony or a screening of a movie, it'll be like, the presentation will begin in 5 minutes. Please find your seats. That's voice of God. And let's see here. We're not going to open this up. Animation is almost certainly the wrong category, which is why we're only a 90% voice match. Yeah, no, there are other reasons we're passing on this, but we're passing. Let's keep going. English dub for beer video. I like beer. Energetic and powerful voice. I don't know that that's me, but let's take a look here. Carlsberg. So, what accent? It says North American? Really? So we're going to take a look at this reference video that they've included, because we always love it when clients include that. Carlsberg beer is really popular in England, so I'm curious if they're trying to break in more into the American market, and why they wouldn't want an English. I don't understand. But big shout out. Definitely anytime I'm in the UK, like I definitely drink a lot of Carlsberg. Okay. This looks like Turkish.
Frederick Craft Bira tesisine hoş geldiniz. Marzen Lager, India Pils'de her biri farklı kategoride ve Danimarka'daki
I feel like I've already done this. Wait, as a matter of fact, did that download not show up as a... It did. It's got the little parentheses 1. I've already done this. We Danes, known as the happy people now to enjoy life. Okay, so I've seen it, but I didn't do it because, like, I'm not going to read as though I'm Danish, because I'm not. What do you... I don't understand some people. Okay. Audiobook. Wait. This will be read in format as a children's book, but it is not for children. It targets adults, specifically voters. Interesting. Let's take a look. What's the rate? 5. That's a good rate. Interesting that only 20 responses for something with that much of a rate. I think just because it's the audiobooks category, I think a lot of voice talent simply like have that filtered out. Because audiobooks are not for everybody. But this is interesting. Let's do this here. Devoid of, let's see, like a first time, okay. Devoid of true knowledge in any domain, from science and business to political games. Devoid of true knowledge in any domain, from science and business to political games. His false understandings, though barely skin deep, were lapped up by flocks. Standings, though science and business to political games. His false understandings, though barely skin deep, were lapped up by flocks of fanatical sheep. His ego and bias were always his guide, a dim-witted ignorance driven by pride. From blather to blunder he'd boast without cease, an American idiot, a fool's masterpiece. We're going to call that good enough. I could definitely agonize and so forth, trying to get everything perfect, but I like to represent a very realistic picture of what the final product will actually sound like. And with audiobook work in particular, that's just how you have to do it. Let's hear the Wizard of Odds. The Wizard of Odds. Let's take a look here. Reply to job. Audiobook. I'm also a native Texan and a military veteran. Now, a live directed session, generally speaking, I offer live directed sessions for no fee. But for a project this long, for a full 8 minutes, working on my own, I'd be able to absolutely get that cranked out in a totally reasonable time period. But for a live directed session for a product that long, I don't want someone nitpicking every sentence. That's going to be exceedingly obnoxious. I mean, yeah, that's obnoxious. Let's give them a quote right in the middle of the range. Okay. All right, next one's ready to go. The planner persona. Is this another freaking... Oh, no, it's not. I thought this was going to be an AI job. We're skipping that. 85 responses in line ahead of us. So this is where we're going to start basically just saying no to everything because there are just way too many people in line ahead of us. Ain't no way we're going to get heard. And we're coming to the end of the queue anyway. 66 people really this excited to get between $5 and $99. The retention roadmap. Okay. There we go. That's everything on voices. Let's head over to Voice123. Go ahead and hit refresh. There are 23 jobs. Now, let's see here. First thing that we're going to do, let's go ahead and do it. We got to come off of full screen, and I need to look at every one of these jobs and make sure that we're not showing any of these clients' full first and last name. Clients on Voice123 have the option of anonymizing their name, and the vast majority of clients take that option to where their name just shows up as like client number, yada, yada, yada. But occasionally you get a client that does show their full first and last name, and some of them even put like their a profile picture, but that's very, very rare. But rare as it is, our friends at Voice123 have asked us specifically to do it. Okay, I know that those won't be okay. They've asked me to do it so that we're not doxing people on the stream, basically. So we're going to do that. Okay, and we have confirmed that ain't nobody showing off their full... Please, hello? Please, go back. Please? Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to clear out the ones that we're obviously not going to do. It's the last of the coffee. Will you calm down? Okay. So the easiest way to start clearing some of these 23 jobs out, because we're not going to do all 23. In fact, I would be surprised if we do more than one or two. Easiest way to clear things out is first to eliminate things that are full. Let's take a look at these two numbers here. 51 out of 35. This client has requested to hear 35 proposals. They've already received 51. So anything over this 35, we're going to assume that there's zero chance of us being heard by the client. So as much as we would love to get $1,500 for reading this job, we're going to assume that it's impossible because they're already over that limit. So anything where the first number is bigger than the second number, we're going to get rid of it. So starting at the top here, 51 out of 35, 26 out of 25. Keep going down, keep going down. Keep going down. Looks like I expected worse. 42 out of 40. Get rid of that one. 54 out of 50. Get rid of that. 49 out of 50. That's close enough that we're going to assume it's full because it would be extremely annoying if we go 49 out of 50. Oh, we can get it in time. We put the work into doing the audition and editing it and rendering it and submitting it, and then right as we submit, someone else gets in first and we're number 51. That would be very annoying. Okay, so that's everything that we could eliminate based on just being full. Now let's find the other easy way to delete stuff, and that is this. This is a TTS job. That means text to speech. That means they're trying to get your voice and train an AI synthetic voice on your voice. This is an extremely bad idea if you really want to do this as a career. This is the worst. It's the worst. And this rate, $125, is the most insulting thing I've ever seen. Like, just for reading the script, if it was for an unpaid, like for a nonprofit, single use, just on their website, $125 would be like, okay, maybe. But these people want to train an AI on your voice and ruin your career forever, because that's what you're doing if you give your voice up to be a synthetic voice. You are ruining your career forever. It sounds dramatic, but it is dramatic. It is a dramatic thing that you're doing when you give your voice up to a TTS client. Once your voice is out there in a synthetic format, one that you have consented to giving away, once you've consented to it, there's no recourse. You're done. People can use your voice and make it say anything they want. They can advertise products and services that you don't agree with, products and services that conflict with jobs that you would like to get, meaning you're going to be screwing yourself out of work. They can make your voice say horrible, terrible, racist things. They can make your voice do anything that they want. Right here, to generate TTS voice for all purpose, and you'll never be compensated for any of it. Why would you do this? Why would you ever do this? When you watch like TikTok or Instagram videos and you hear that, like, that one smiley, especially there's the female smiley, like, my face when I do this, like, that lady is not being compensated every time someone makes a video with that voice. And it's like, it's a damn shame. Like, whoever that lady is, poor lady, like, I rant about this frequently. This, though, is maybe one of the most, the price for 5 minutos is $125 with usage term of 1 year. All right, I'm reporting this project. This is yeah, this is the worst. This is the worst. This is just, shit like this right here. This is why I will not be renewing Voice123, and it is why I recommend anyone watching this video, don't do it. Don't do Voice123. There's no gatekeeping on the client side. People can come and post bullshit like this, and there's no gatekeeping. There's no filter. There's nothing. This belongs on Fiverr. It belongs on Upwork. It belongs on Craigslist. This is bullshit. And the fact that Voice123 continues to allow this horse shit to flow right into my face when I spend $888 a year on my membership, this is fucking bullshit. Like, the people at Voice123 have been nothing but kind and courteous to me. And so I don't want to be rude to them, to the humans. But somewhere in the chain they're like, This is why. Like, I'm not being rude. I am being snarky, but like, the kind people at Voice123 have told me, like, oh, you can filter out TTS. No, I want to see the garbage that's being let through the filter, and it just seems that there is no filter. What is the 6, 7, 8? Like, I'm just gonna copy paste this now. Like, so I've talked about this before. The rate that I would need to do a TTS job is $1 million. And I am not exaggerating. If you offered me $500,000 to do a TTS job, I would say no. Because $500,000 would be nice. It's not life-changing money in my current situation. Like, I'm surviving, like, but $500,000 isn't going to, like, totally change my life. It would solve some problems for sure. It would provide some comfort, but it wouldn't change my life. $1 million could change my life, but what I would really do with $1 million is I would put it into some kind of financial instrument that would generate 5% return per year. And I would live off of that $50,000 per year while I built a different new career, because that's what you have to do when you give your voice away to an AI TTS synthetic voice job. You need to look for a new career. That's the level of damage that this is going to do to you long term. We're just starting to see the repercussions come down on voice talent who give their voice away to these kinds of things. It doesn't get a lot of press right now because generally the people who are getting suckered into this kind of stuff are newbie talent, and so nobody really cares. But whether you're a newbie talent yourself, or, you know, if you really do have plans to do something in this industry, you have to avoid this, because this will absolutely destroy your career and your ability to make an income. Like, I understand, like, Voice123, they need to, you know, adapt and be nimble in order to, you know, stay relevant and make their shareholders, make their investors happy. But you gotta make a subdomain or something. Have it be fake Voice123, you know? Have it be shitty, lifeless Voice123. Don't have it be come through on voice123.com. Voice123. The word, the noun is voice. That's not what that shit is. It's fake. It's a computer. Like, training it on a real voice doesn't make it a real voice. Like, people can tell when you hear it. Like, you know, like, that's a fake voice. And having that come through on the main platform, it's just all these tech companies are so fucking stupid nowadays. HBO, Twitter, all of these, like, hey, we've got, in some cases, decades worth of goodwill built on this brand. Let's just fucking change the name. Let's fucking change the entire business model. Like, let's just do it on a whim because of one person's ego or because some fucking consultant said to do so. And they just, like, flush decades of goodwill down the toilet. And Voice123 and Voices.com does it too, but Voice123 honestly is way worse as far as letting bullshit jobs come through. You're flushing your, like, what reputation you had, you're flushing it down the toilet every day by letting this fucking bullshit through the filter. Like, if I wanted to see bullshit jobs, I would be on Fiverr. I would be on Upwork. I would be on Craigslist, if that even is still a thing. Very first paying voiceover job I ever got was in probably 2004. And I got it through Craigslist. And accounting for inflation, that job paid a whole lot more than that TTS job that would ruin my entire career. Unfucking believable. I bet you didn't expect a live stream about voice auditions would have this much ranting and swearing. But this is, I want to be clear, this is not the state of the industry. This is the state of the pay-to-plays. And it's these two particular pay-to-plays. It's Voices and Voice123 that seem to be just floundering about, just absolutely flailing, searching for a way to stay relevant, and just constantly making decisions that benefit, I couldn't even tell you who they benefit, but they're extremely short-sighted, to say the least. Whereas I look at, like, people like to dunk on ACX, but ACX is run by Amazon. ACX, Audible, Amazon, all the same parent company. And they at least are continuously trying to improve the experience, both for the talent that are coming to the portal and for the authors and rights holders who are using this to find talent. There's a lot of missteps. But this is also a free service. I don't have to pay any kind of yearly fee to be on this. And when I book something, I don't pay a portion of what I book to Amazon. So, like, it can be done. You can run a good service. Now, obviously, they've got, the billions of dollars that Amazon has behind them, and they've got all of that technology and stuff, but I'm just saying it can be done. You are taking my money every year, and Voices, you're taking my money every year, plus you're taking a percentage of every job I book. So you can't claim poverty, but when you take an annual fee, that implies, like, you have an extra burden. You got to make it worth my while. And just booking enough jobs to recoup my investment is not enough. I got to book enough jobs to make it worth my time that I just spend worrying about how to succeed in your algorithm. And you got to gatekeep on the client side. The money that I spend, I don't begrudge that. I think it's good, because that's gatekeeping on the talent side, which I think is good, because clients, when they come here and they post a job, they don't get 200 auditions where 90% of them are people, untrained people speaking into their iPhone microphone. That's what it would be. And I bet that's what a lot of people see when they go to Fiverr or Upwork to find voice talent. I bet they get a lot of shit like that. Just people who don't have any business trying to do voiceover professionally, who are just submitting garbage, them talking on a phone. So I don't begrudge paying an annual fee. I actually think it's good and healthy, and it provides clients a better experience. I think that's good. But the pay-to-plays, you have to do the other part as well by having some kind of barrier to entry for the clients, so that we as talent aren't seeing the equivalent of an idiot with an iPhone. That's what a lot of this is. It's absolute garbage that they're not ready. They're not ready for professional talent. A lot of these clients. They're just not. This right here, open, looking for a quote. This is fucking bullshit. I rant about this all the time. Eliminate this. This is the stupidest, the single easiest quick fix on Voice123. Like a lot of this other stuff is like, oh, you probably need to like have a human employee who's like checking out a lot of these jobs and making sure that they're not complete fucking bullshit. This, however, a couple lines of HTML or whatever, just eliminate the ability for a client just to say looking for a quote, because this is fucking bullshit. This doesn't help anybody. It presents a risk for talent to submit because we're not fucking mind readers. Tell us your budget. Looking for a quote, what does that fucking mean? I don't know what your budget is. How can I quote this if I don't know what your budget is? If I quote a fair market rate, but you're a cheap ass and you don't have a realistic budget because there's no client education going on here, then I'm going to get hurt in the algorithm because you don't have a realistic budget? Tell me your fucking budget. Just this Iceman cometh. This client has been posting for weeks, if not months, looking to cast stuff. What is this? See cover page for role.pdf. I guess that means the... Like, what is this? What is Iceman cometh? I have to look this up. What the hell is this thing? It's a play written in 1939. Okay, so they're doing like an audio production of this play. Shit. Okay. But they haven't given us any more info. Like, man, no. All right, we're going to clear out all of these Iceman cometh things. Like, I'm just not interested in your play. The Harry Potter sorting hat. I'm not going to do that. HVAC company. Potential recurring. I'm sure it is. Albuquerque. Audition should be lighthearted, friendly, but not too cartoony. The character animation will interact with on-screen talent. Okay. First-rate snowflake man, is that you? You wouldn't include the You wouldn't include that. You wouldn't. You would just say, cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear, best rate is here. I can fix this in a jiffy. Problem solved. All right, let's give it to him. Why not? Cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear, best rate is here. I can fix this in a jiffy. Problem solved. For fast, reliable service, trust Best Rate Plumbing. Trust Best Rate Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Okay. Let's do this. This. And then... Is it... Wait. Problem solved. For fast... What is it? Wait. For fast, reliable service, trust Best Rate Plumbing. For fast, reliable service, trust Best Rate Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I've committed the sin of old Voice123 responding to my emails. Let's see if they pop into the stream. Yeah, like, hey, can you stop fucking blowing us up? All right, let's give this a little bit more. They've said lighthearted, friendly, not too cartoony. You know, we need to. Yeah. Cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear. Cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear. Best rate is here. Never fear. Never fear. Best rate is here. I can fix this in a jiffy. Problem solved. For fast, reliable service, trust Best Rate Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. There you go. You gotta smile while you read it. I had a double read. Where is it? Here? Cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear. Best rate is here. I can fix this in a jiffy. Let's reread that. That sucks. Cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear. Best rate is here. Cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear. Never fear. Best rate is here. I can... Cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear. Best rate is here. I can fix this in a jiffy. Okay. We're gonna, for God's sake. For God's sake, here we go. We're gonna have to call that good enough. Cooling problem, Sarah? Never fear. Best rate is here. I can fix this in jiffy. Problem solved. For fast, reliable service, trust Best Rate Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. All right. There we go. All right. Best rate HVAC. Da, 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 da. Yep. There we go. Okay. Back to projects. Wait, what is this? Epic movie trailer for a documentary about the Bible. Yeah, we're going to decline that. Also, looking for a quote. So, they expect talent to be fucking mind readers. Fuck you. Fuck you for that. Just fuck you. What's your fucking budget? Animated explainer video. Okay. Solid. This is the kind of project that I want to see dozens of every day. This is what we want to see. Oh wait, it's in Spanish. Ha! Really? This is the Spanish translation of an already existing animated video, so the performance duration would need to be similar to avoid retiming of the video's content. So, wait, let's see here. Okay, so let me double check. So this is going to be el agua es vida. Es una parte esencial de nuestra día a día. You know, I do speak a fair amount of Spanish. I know what they're talking about. Like, water is life. It's an essential part of our day-to-day life. That's what they're saying here. But I'm not the right talent for this. They want a native speaker, someone with the background that matches the background of the people they're trying to reach here. Me actually voicing this would be... disingenuous isn't the right word, but it's close. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't be right. Like, as much as I would love someday to book some Spanish language work, like, I really think that would be fun. This isn't it. this isn't for me. Interesting that 9 people have submitted. I wonder how many people just like didn't even read the fucking script and they just submitted like a demo. Extremely poor taste to do that, and you're never going to book doing that. So why do people do that? Okay, that's everything on Voice123 and voices.com. Let's head over to ACX and take a look and see if there's any interesting audiobook titles. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. Okay, let's see here. We've got a few new titles. I've seen everything from here and older. So let's open up all of these in new tabs, and we'll take a look at each one and discuss why or why not we might consider doing this if we were in the market for audiobook right now, which again, we're not. I'm booked out through 2025 right now. Which is a great problem to have, but that also means that for the sake of the stream, it's a real tragedy because I'm not doing audiobook auditions right now. Now, obviously, this is in French, so this obviously isn't for us, but just generally speaking, it's got a bunch of ratings on Amazon for something that only just released. The cover art looks good, good title and everything, good rate, good length. And it's book 1, it looks like. So this, for any francophones out there, this looks like a killer job. So, best of luck. Like, this would be, what an amazing job. And it looks like it's probably like post-apocalyptic kind of thing, which is, I really love the genre, and I do book a fair bit of post-apocalyptic type stories. I love reading those stories, both for leisure and as a narrator. So very cool. And it seems like you'll get some, I guess this is a really successful English language series. Thriller, post-apocalyptic, right there. So really cool. So if you're a francophone, knock yourself out. It's a great job. The Zen of Elevator Travel, a novel collection of short stories. Short stories, I find them fun. I do enjoy doing short stories. It's sort of a bit of a test for your acting chops. I do not have an acting or theater background by any means. I'm a music and radio dork. That's how I came into this space. So doing short story sort of anthologies, you might call them. I've done a couple now. They're really fun. They're interesting. And like I said, it's a good exercise, if anything, to quickly get into the mood of the story that you're tackling and to quickly analyze and embody these characters so that your listener can quickly pick up on those same cues. Really fun, really interesting. This has a decent length, 4.5 hours. This will be a good it's a good length for a short story collection if you've not done a bunch of them. Getting into a short story collection like something the length of like The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury, much longer, a bit more of an undertaking in many ways, but 4.5 hours, nice and short. You can knock that out in a week. This is a good project, it looks like. It's been out for a couple years, which kind of makes you sort of, but you know what? Ain't a big deal. I think this is very likely a legitimate and good project for someone out there. So again, if I was not up to my neck in audiobook right now, I would actually probably do this audition. Let's look at the script real quick, and just take a look and see if this author / rights holder has done themselves and us any favors. It looks like, hey, it's a short audition. 1 page. Look at that. You love to see it. This will take you, it'll be like 3 or 4 minutes of copy, I think, with the spacing here. Yeah, it's single spaced or thereabouts, maybe 1.1 spaced. Um, Looks like you will have to do a little bit of, unless you're from the area, you're probably gonna have to do some quick pronunciation research on this proper noun, Metairie and Harahan. Um, People who are from, what is it, Louisiana? Yeah, Louisiana are laughing at me right now, but I don't fucking know. um, but yeah, this looks like it would be a great book, and this is absolutely something that I would audition for if I wasn't super busy. So, get on it. Get on it. That looks like a good one. The Senator's Murder. The the cover art's a bit Mickey Mouse is the best phrase that I can think of. Let's take a look here, though. But that's not to say this is no good. Let's look at the text here. 8.2 hours. That's good. This audition is way too long. You absolutely do not need to read all of this. What I recommend, if you see an audition, this looks like the entirety of chapter 1 is what this is. So that's a bummer. What you prefer to see, and maybe chapter 1 satisfies this, but what you prefer to see is an auditions excerpt that contains a few short little snippets, scenes that contain a variety of the kinds of action that you're going to have to be narrating. So for any rights holders or authors that might potentially watch this, in an audition script, you'd like to see some general prose. You don't even need to include that, though, because you're going to get the general prose even in the middle of a dialogue scene. What you really want to see is obviously your main character and or your main antagonist, your protagonist and your antagonist, if that's applicable. You'd like to see conversations between male and female characters. Just to hear that separation, that distinction that the narrator should be able to make. If there's any crazy accent work in your book, you'd like to see that. Just to see, you would expect for the audition, maybe the accent work is a little bit rough because we as narrators, we're sometimes doing several auditions in a day, and we can't spend a ton of time doing all of that accent work for just one audition. So give your narrators a little bit of grace when it comes to especially less common accents. So if you've got I need someone, like South African or a really, what is to me a very tough accent. Give your narrators a little bit of grace and understand that when it comes time for the full production of the audiobook, they're going to have much more focus and attention to place on preparing for that role. So that's what you'd like to see. But above all, it needs to be short. It needs to come to 3 to 5 minutes of finished audio for an audiobook audition. For commercial voiceover auditions, 50 to 60 seconds is all that is the standard to give. This is way too long. All of this, I'm sure this is great scene setting, and I'm sure it's super riveting and everything, but so far I am on page 5. We've got no dialogue yet. No dialogue. It's not until, what is this? Page 6? The end of page 5 that we start to see dialogue. And it looks like it is between people of different genders. So, start the audition right here. Jack walked in the office, shed his jacket, and proceeded directly to the coffee pot. He made a mug of coffee and returned to his desk. He had been responding to email for about 20 minutes when his assistant walked into his office. "Morning, boss." "Morning, Ann." "Were you and Lynn up all night babysitting the senator?" she asked with a grin. That's where you want to pick up. I don't know how big a character Ann is, but it doesn't really matter because it's giving you a sense of how I'm going to approach male and female characters in dialogue with each other. And that's what's important. All right, so Senators at Murder, it seems like this is a good title worth auditioning for. But tailor your audition. You as the narrator, it's great when the rights holder does their part and they format a really nice, tightly edited audition script. But if they haven't done that, then spend the time and do it yourself. Don't just start reading from the start of this chapter. Here you go, big tip here. 3 to 5 minutes is the standard. If you see that the script is way longer than that, don't just start reading from the beginning and hit stop when you hit 3 to 5 minutes. Look for that good starting spot. And like I said, I really think right here, you don't need all of this other preamble for an audition. You can jump right into this scene. Jack walk into his office. Like, that is the perfect place to start this, and then read for 3 to 5 minutes worth. And once you pass 3 minutes, look for a good scene ending bit. Look for something that actually sort of wraps up the little mini scene, and go ahead and end it there. Obviously, you don't want to stop mid-sentence or whatever, mid-thought. Find a good place to stop it, somewhere in that 3 to 5 minute range, and just do it. And then you don't need to read all this other stuff. Just stop it. So yeah, good luck to anyone out there who is out there reading this. Good luck to anyone who read the entire audition. Holy shit. You can't be doing that. It's not an efficient use of your time. It doesn't help the rights holder decide either. I have I booked a very a big series at a very, very good rate by submitting a short audition. Short meaning not what the author, in this case it is an author rights holder. They posted a really long audition, and I submitted less than the full thing, and they actually messaged hey, I liked your audition, you didn't read the whole thing. I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna. That's what you get. And he was like, oh. Maybe it was just a vibe check that I pushed back and said I'm not gonna give you the full thing. No, I'm busy, man. And I think that was just a vibe check that I passed, because he was like, okay, I want to hire you. So I'm saying that it works out. And things like that, it's like an early form of boundary setting. If you establish with your counterparts early on that, you don't take shit. Not to say, you get what I'm saying. Just establish early on that you're a professional, you've got standards, you've got boundaries, and you're going to deliver an excellent professional product. And what all of that will do from a vibe check standpoint is it will let your counterpart know. It'll give them peace of mind. Don't think of it it's going to be contentious. No. It'll give them peace of mind knowing that they've got a pro handling the production of their audiobook. They're not audiobook people. They're authors and rights holders. That's their thing. They write books. That's what they do. They don't know about audio and stuff. If they did, they'd be making their own audiobook. So they are trusting you, or they need to trust you as the audiobook creating professional. And so you need to give them that comfort, that peace of mind that hey, I got this. Just give me notes. If you've got specific things that you want to hear, fine, I'll take those. But otherwise, I got this. Leave it up to me. You don't have to worry about this. Give me a deadline. I'll meet it, and we'll be good. In my experience, those are the ingredients for a good quality professional relationship in this business. When you're working one-on-one, when you're not working as part of a team with a big publisher or something like that, things get a little bit different there because you're just a small piece of the puzzle. Let's take a look here. Mean Little People. Really long book, 14.6 hours. Let's take a look here. Looking for a Boston accent. All right. Okay. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So it looks like this is a bit of horror, because it says right here, warning, 18 plus listeners only, graphic content and subject matter. like, hopefully it's good that they put that there. You know, depending on your sensitivities and what triggers you might have, you may want to, you know, scan the audition copy, and even if that seems acceptable, you know, say you do the audition and say the author starts having a conversation with you, you may want to ask, like, hey, can you give me a full breakdown of exactly what kind of things that we're going to be talking about here as far as, you know, potential triggers here. You know, I once worked with an author that everything was good. I was totally vibing with everything in there. There's plenty of profanity, but it was like sort of natural and realistic and everything. And then a project comes across my desk from this author where there was a word used that I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say that word. Like, that's not a word I'm ever going to say. And I went to the author and I was just like, hey, man, I can't say that word. I'm not going to say that word. And he changed the book. He deleted the word. And we were good to go. So, again, that's talking about the power of having a good, trusting, professional relationship with your counterparts in this industry. We've got a voices job that might be worth taking a look at. But yeah, this seems like it might be a good, solid job. It does look like this might be duet narration. Yeah, my hope is you will collaborate with the female narrator, who I guess they have already found. Duet. Anyway. With duet, you know, I'm not sure exactly how this will all work. I've done one duet narration, and I was the overall producer. I took the audio from my narrating partner, and I mastered it, and I, in the couple of chapters where both of our audio existed together, I did that patch in and everything. So I'd be curious to how you negotiate that. So good luck. Be flexible. Be open. And good luck. Okay. Boycotts 2.0 Unleashed. How Gen Z and the youth will sideline AIPAC for Palestine. My concern with this is that it's quite short, 2.7 hours. Anything under 3 hours, you got to be a little careful about. We're going to talk more about this, though. We're getting multiple jobs come in on voices.com, and voices jobs are time sensitive. So let's take a look here. Target audience for the video is bankers and investors. Let's go. I've got an MBA. Let's use it. We are Lineage, the world's largest temperature-controlled warehousing REIT. We are Lineage, the world's largest temperature-controlled warehousing REIT. When we started back in 2008, we committed to a simple but ambitious vision, to build a company that we would want to own forever. We were new to the cold chain, starting small with just one warehouse. We were new to the cold chain. Cold chain? That we would want to own forever. We were new to the cold chain. That we would want to own forever. We were new to the cold chain, starting small with just one warehouse. We quickly learned the industry was the critical infrastructure behind the global food supply chain. Let's read that better. Starting small with just one warehouse. We quickly learned the industry was the critical infrastructure behind the global... Let's read in the middle here. We quickly learned the industry was the critical infrastructure behind the global food supply chain and was underappreciated, but both resilient and growing. It also had abundant opportunities to deploy capital to create a world-leading company. Let's read that last bit a little better. Abundant opportunities to deploy capital to create a world-leading company. Okay, let's do our edit here. Boom. So we're doing punch and roll narration, and that makes the edit super, super simple. Let's make our waveforms a little taller so that we can edit a little easier. Here's our mid-sentence edit point, and we are happy with that. When I say mid-sentence, I'm implying mid-sentence without a breath. Editing at a breath, super simple. Editing within a sentence without a breath, a little more complicated, but I feel confident in how that went out. Investor pitch video. Here we go. And we're giving this the full, my full quote, my full rate, because it's quite a long video. And there we go. And we are number 4 in line. Hell yeah, I love to see it. Okay, let's take a look at this next one. Synterra. Power, okay. Electric power. It's a necessity today and will be long into the future. But it's how we produce that power from clean, renewable energy sources that helps ensure a better tomorrow. As one of the nation's leading let's also read that a little from clean, renewable energy sources that helps ensure a better tomorrow. As one of the nation's leading turnkey utility-scale renewable... Oh my God, there's so many fucking words there. Ensure a better tomorrow. As one of the nation's leading turnkey utility-scale renewable energy contractors, Synterra is creating a brighter future by bringing clean energy to life. Scale renewable... Let's read right here. Utility-scale renewable energy contractors, Utility-scale renewable energy contractors, Synterra is creating a brighter future by bringing factors. Synterra is creating a brighter future by bringing clean Synterra is creating a brighter future by bringing clean energy to life. Factors. Synterra is creating a brighter future by bringing clean energy to life across the nation. Our commitment is unwavering for building sustainable solar and renewable biogas production sites, transmission systems. Okay, this is the start of a list. Clean energy to life across the nation. Our commitment is unwavering for building sustainable solar and renewable biogas production sites, transmission systems, and storage solutions. Solar and renewable biogas production sites, transmission systems, and storage solutions. We empower utility companies, EPCs, municipalities, natural gas and biogas producers to efficiently and effectively deliver clean electricity wherever it's needed. Natural gas and biogas producers to efficiently and effectively deliver clean electricity wherever it's needed. Can't say that. Effectively deliver clean electricity wherever it's needed. Needed. I can't say needed when the microphone, when I'm recording. Effectively deliver clean electricity wherever it's needed. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and... For clean electricity wherever it's needed. We capture the limitless for clean electricity wherever it's needed. We capture the limitless energy from the sun. And today, we stand as the #1 solar electrical energy from the sun. And today, we stand as the #1 solar electrical contractor in the nation. That'll be it. Let's go ahead and edit there. We're going to have to get a little funky with that one spot, but we will tackle that easily because we're pretty used to it by now. Simple, straightforward edits for the most part here. Couple of tight edits. Okay, here's our funky edit. And I guess we will listen to this so you can hear what I'm doing here. Okay, so actually we'll come back to that. That's at 43. Let's go ahead and finish the edit here. So And I've been working on this with a coach in the past. I wasn't even super aware that I was doing it before. But at the end of sentences in particular, certain consonants, I'll hit them weird. At the very ending, the ending sound, instead of saying I hit them weird, if it's recording, I'll say I'll hit them weird, duh. I'll do stupid stuff with my ending consonants just because it's recording. I don't know. It's a weird, just mental thing that happens. So listen to how I pronounce the ending D on this word here. For clean electricity wherever it's needed. Wherever it's needed. I don't know why I do that, but I do it. So rather than try a million times to pronounce this in a normal human way, I'm going to use the magic of editing here, and we're going to not cut that because it would end up really sounding janky. I'm going to drop it. 9 dB. Let's listen. Clean electricity wherever it's needed. Maybe that's a little too much. Let's bring it up to like -6 dB. Electricity wherever it's needed. We capture the... Maybe even a little more. Maybe like -5 dB. Electricity wherever it's needed. We capture the... I think that's fine. And that's it. Generally, hold on, let me bounce this out. Sintera, July. Generally speaking, if you're making a hard edit of some kind, it really is situational dependent. But you need to consider, as a tool in your tool chest, consider a drop in amplitude rather than a cut. This is especially true for breaths. Cutting breaths out entirely is something that you should very rarely be doing in voiceover and particularly in audiobooks. Humans breathe. Listeners expect to hear breathing. In audiobooks especially, anytime where you don't have music under you to sort of like bridge any kind of gap, anytime where it's just voice by itself and you don't hear breathing, the listener is subconsciously going to start to feel like they're drowning. They're going to start to feel out of breath themselves. It really is, it's no good. Humans breathe. AI doesn't breathe. So if you don't want to be mistaken for AI, then for God's sake, leave your breaths in. If you find that you feel like you're like gasping, like your breaths are really loud and obnoxious, then you can attenuate them. You can bring them down by a few dB, but I do not recommend cutting them out completely. It will sound unnatural and uncomfortable. Okay, taking a look at this last ACX project. My concern is that it's short, 2.7 hours. This is something... It's right on the cusp. Like really anything over 3 hours is something that, you should be proud and happy to have in your portfolio. I'll note that Amazon's their wonky text parsing is really jacked up right now. So this, I think, Moses... Let's look at this. Open a new tab. So this author has their name stylized with Moses apostrophe Inc. That's how they've stylized their name. The apostrophe, however, gets lost and converted into this, I think it's like, is that CSS or HTML? Someone out there might know. It gets converted to junk. And this happens in... This author has made it to where you can just download the audition script, and that's great. Some authors will just copy-paste, though, and it's a real bummer when they do that because you see all of this trash shows up, and that's something that ACX, they're aware of it, and I would assume that they're working on it. But yeah, that's a real bummer. But yeah, I don't know that this would be necessarily the best project. I mean, money is money. Like, obviously, we got to pay some bills. So do this if you want to do this. Um, Obviously, you want to be aware of the long-term ramifications of the politics of the kinds of books that you take. Um, you know, I I have strong feelings about what's going on in this part of the world, and to be frank, I would be inclined to read this. Um, Maybe it's kind of unclear from the title here, but from the cover, like, yeah, let's go. Um, and before I get shadow banned, um, but you, if you aren't, if you aren't into politics of any kind or activism, then you might want to be a little bit wary of having this show up in your portfolio, especially if you're newer and you don't have a big portfolio for this to potentially get lost in. If this is the only thing that shows up in your portfolio, future clients might go like, "What's going on here?" But if this is something that you believe in and feel strongly about, then fuck it, you should do it. We've talked about on this stream, again, this is not a politics live stream, but occasionally we do political voiceover auditions, and we do it from a professional standpoint. We don't talk about the merits of this or that, but we are frank and honest about how the industry is, and the industry is such that you have to pick a side when you're doing political voiceover work. Pick the side that you align with, and you have to stick with that. Gone are the days of being able to do both sides with political voiceover. That just does not exist anymore. So this can very much align with, your overall voiceover and audiobook narration strategy if that's something that you're interested in. And generally speaking, if this piques your interest, then you're probably going to be down for whatever consequences follow from doing a book like this anyway. So you don't need to hear it from me. If this appeals to you, absolutely do it. Do a good job. Deliver a good product on time, and good things will happen for you. I would be very surprised, however, if they would be looking for someone who looked and sounded like me to read this. I would bet that they want someone who is Gen Z. I am firmly millennial, and I would bet that they would be looking for someone who perhaps is of Palestinian descent to read this. That would make a lot of sense to me. But at the very least, they almost certainly want someone, character age, young adult. They probably want the narrator to align with that. Because if there's one thing that Gen Z doesn't need, it's another fucking millennial telling them how things should be. So yeah, honestly, some great projects. None of these are trash. Last couple of days we had some trash. This is trash. But good projects on ACX today. ACX, the free platform that doesn't cost me anything, but maybe a little sanity, doesn't cost me anything. Throwing up bangers. Good projects that pay really well, that would all help your career along. Whereas Voice123 really sucking today. Voices.com had some good stuff today. Did 5, 6 auditions on Voices? Some good stuff going on Voices today. Voice123, sorry. Just not seeing the value. Just really, really not seeing the value. Real shame. I believe in competition. I think that there should be some really strong, healthy competition. And Voices.com isn't doing things perfectly. There's so much room for competition. Anybody could come in and do a better job than Voices on a whole host of fronts. They just aren't. They're just not doing it. All right, that's going to wrap up the stream. I've got some audiobook work to get to. I have got a book that I'm trying to deliver today, and then I have to finish my pre-read of a book that I need to start recording tomorrow. This is we are in hair on fire crunch mode. So starting tomorrow, that book, we may start live streaming our work on that book, at least some of the work on that book. It's a really cool, fun new series that I've picked up, and it's going to be a lot of fun to do that. I won't share a lot about it just yet. I want to chat a little bit more with the author before I gauge his comfort with how much I want to share. But he has given us the thumbs up to narrate the book. So we'll be talking more about that tomorrow, especially if we start narrating it tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. But for the time being, I hope folks out there enjoyed the show, got something out of it, more than just the insane ramblings of a person rapidly losing his sanity. But I hope that your auditions are going well, and that you're doing well. Take care of yourselves for sure. If you want to pay me to talk for you, head over to veteranaudio.com. You can find all the contact information there. You can send me a message, send me some copy, and I'll say the words for you in exchange for US dollars. Give us a like and a subscribe. Do all the good stuff. You know how to do it. Leave me a comment on YouTube. I will respond to all comments that come through. For anyone that I missed, I apologize. I do my best to monitor chat as we go. But I want to say thank you all for stopping by. And we'll see you next time tomorrow, live, 1 p.m. Eastern. Cheers, y'all. Love you.